there's a lot of things we have to cover. Obviously, it revolves around Destiny drama. Let's just start out by saying I'm not quitting the game before anybody asks me 10,000 times. Everything I'm about to talk about may lead you to think that, but I'm not quitting Destiny. At this point, if you haven't seen, you guys have probably seen the Across microtransactions video. I saw it as soon as it came out. We gave some opinions on it, and I was contemplating, I'm like, should I make this into a React video? Would it probably do well for views? Absolutely. But here is my philosophy, and I know this is a fact. The more attention that you give to the game, whether it's good or bad, they don't care. Because one of the higher ups at Bungie, Justin Truman, said at the game development conference last year, when they were talking about how Bungie functions as a company, and they gave all these specific facts. Let me see if I can find the exact quote. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Even when the passion is being expressed as anger or frustration, like anger is not the opposite of loving a game. Loving and hating a game are like 2 degrees off from each other, and they both come from passion, from people who are highly engaged. The opposite of loving a game, the thing that will kill your game, is apathy. And to be honest, I didn't know what apathy meant until a few months ago, but lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. When people literally just stop caring, they stop engaging in every way possible. It is my belief that the only way things will change in regards to microtransactions, us getting actual PvP content, because PvP, I'm gonna be honest, like those guys have been hit harder than anybody else. Those guys have they've eaten shit for so long. The only way that things change for microtransactions, PvP, and everything else on the board, I'm not gonna go through everything in PvE because I don't think it's worth it, is by being apathetic. And the only way people become apathetic is when people stop talking about it, which is the reason I've been trying to restrain on making critical YouTube pieces, because all it does is give attention to them. It is very evident when one of the highest people at Destiny 2 is saying that hating the game is not a bad thing. You can fix your reviews, you can fix your sentient, and fix your sales as long as you have engagement, as long as you have a community of players who care and are passionate about your game. TLDR, they don't care whether you love or hate the game. You talk about it, they're winning. Their wallets are winning. They don't care. They have no reason to care. But let me clarify even more in saying that I have met developers from Destiny 2. There's 2 sides to the coin here. As critical as I've been, there are devs on Twitter that I've never talked to and never engaged with that I've been blocked by. No explanation, no nothing. But there are also devs at the studio that I have talked to and are really cool people, and they really, really, really do care, which is really cool to see. But that also ties into another point. They're in the business of not over-delivering, is the TLDR of this entire thing. Or let me read this whole thing. This is tough, and this is the one we're honestly still grappling the hardest with. It's hard to tell a team that has extra cycles and energy to want to do something amazing for Destiny 2, that would be amazing and awesome for the game, to tell them, we should not ship this because it is an over-delivery and will set us up for failure on future trains. That in itself speaks volumes about it's a business, not a passion project. So why should you care? I don't even know how to answer that question. I really don't. As someone who's been playing the game for 9 years now, I still care, probably more than I should. It's really hard to cope with the fact that Destiny went from what felt like a huge passion project. It's like when you fall in love with a job, right? Like, this is your dream job that you think that you wanted for years. You finally land the job, and it's good for like the first couple years. And then you turn into that guy that's basically just clocking in and clocking out. Like there's no real passion behind it anymore. But it's that also like is a not true statement, because there are devs that care, but they're not. This makes it like the higher ups are making it so they can't care. They're not allowing them to care. The people that do. The higher ups are there to collect their paychecks and dip. There's a reason why a lot of them remain anonymous, in my opinion. And like, I can't blame them for that necessarily, but from someone that really does care and is starting to care less, to be honest with you, because I feel like I have no other option. It's just frustrating. From strictly a business standpoint, what would be the reason to put more resources into a project that is still increasing revenue despite increasingly frustrated players? If you're talking strictly business, they're doing it right. You suck the wallets out of your consumers from microtransactions and you just cash out. Now that you've been acquired for $3.6 billion, basically, I don't remember if it's half or a quarter of that being future projections on what your company is supposed to make. They don't need to change to make money. That's the problem. The only way that they would need to change to make money is if people stop playing the game. That is the only answer. No matter what amount of rage or feedback you throw at them on Twitter, it won't do anything. Obviously, I'm not encouraging like hateful behavior on Twitter. People still do that because there are a lot of weirdos in Destiny 2 that like to blame all the problems on like the community managers. I've never really understood that, how that conclusion comes about, but there's an idea of loss leading, but I'm not sure Bungie needs that because they're stacking up dollars. Destiny 2 is not a loss leader. And they do have these KPI report cards on their like vocal sentient for the community and new players. Let's go back to a previous example of what happened last time there was apathy in the game. This is the graph from, God, what year was that? Was that early 2018? Curse of Osiris was so bad and the apathy was so bad, they were 5 weeks from shutting down Destiny 2. You know what saved the game was one DLC. So being 5 weeks from shutting down their doors because they're not profitable enough, to Forsaken being what I think most long-term players consider their pinnacle achievement. It's really interesting what kind of desperation apathy puts you in. It puts pressure on you to perform at your best, which is like, it's weird because it shouldn't need, you would think it wouldn't need to get to that point, right? But that was a part of their plan. Their plan, it was the 3-step plan. The first, trust. You need to get the trust of the players, then their retention, and then focus on revenue. Unfortunately, we've been stuck in the revenue part of this for a couple years now. Basically, what I would say since Forsaken. Only after we solve for trust and retention do we actually start paying attention to revenue again. And I would agree with this. I think this is true. I would say that it almost feels like Bungie's business plan is to consistently back themselves into a corner and then come back with some miraculous recovery. Well, that's exactly what I just explained. That's what happened with Curse of Osiris, and it turned out that we ended up getting the best product we've ever seen with Destiny's lifecycle. Am I honest? Would you guys put a 1 in chat if you think Forsaken was like the pinnacle Destiny content? Because I think 90% of people would agree. Yeah. Okay. And like, for anybody watching on YouTube, most of these people, I'm like, a lot of these names, some of them are new, a lot of them are old. These are people that have been playing Destiny for years. We've all been addicted. Everybody's free to their own opinion, but I think like, it's one of those things where like, if you were there, you'd understand it. I don't think Forsaken's as good now as it was then, partially because half of it is ripped out of the game, but that's besides the point. I still have a lot of love for this game. It has done amazing things for not only myself, but like our community. Like, we've been able to share a lot of crazy moments. But I cannot put all my eggs in one basket anymore, which is why we've been trying other things, and we're going to continue to try other things, especially when there's nothing going on in the game. And one other point that I would like to talk about that Astacross actually didn't bring up in his video in relation to everything with the microtransactions is, do you guys remember when Shadowkeep came out and they split from Activision? That was kind of a rough DLC, but they said it was like more of them getting back on their feet because they wanted to make Destiny the game that they wanted it to be. And one key thing that they kind of threw Activision in the dirt for was forcing them to do like these crazy microtransaction things. And I don't see anybody talking about that, how now that they've been away from Activision for 4 years, how the microtransaction train has technically gotten worse than it's ever been. Let's get the record straight here. Obviously, Activision has done some really shitty things. I don't really need to go into that. I'm not claiming they're perfect. Let's get that very clear. Activision was a part of all of Destiny's best moments, and I don't know if that's a coincidence. The best content Destiny's ever experienced from any player who's played for 9 years will probably tell you most of those best moments were when Activision was a part of the game. I don't know if that's a coincidence. I really don't know. Not Witch Queen. Young Deuce, can I ask you, how long have you been playing? Since D1? Okay. So I mean, if you think Witch Queen is good, that's totally your opinion. That's totally fine. I just think most people are in agreement that most of the best moments, I still think that's true. Like, let's just, okay, even if we give it 90%, 90% of Destiny's best moments were when we're with Activision. And we're almost at a point, now that I think about it, where Destiny was starting in this coming September, there would have been 5 Destiny Activision years and 4 just Bungie years. So it's almost close to 50-50 at this point. And if I had to put them into 2 baskets to say which I had the most memorable moments with, some of the craziest community moments with, some of the most like fun times I've had with both YouTube and Twitch, just being able to like let loose, create crazy stuff, and just like get people excited about the game, because that's what I cared about more than anything, is like just being able to share like these crazy dumb ideas with you guys. And it felt very easy for me to do that through the game. But most of those were when we're in the Activision version. Activision didn't do everything perfect either, because Activision had their own versions of controversy within Destiny. I don't remember if you guys remember that there was like so this is what it was. I forgot exactly what it was. This is a long time ago, but this is with Activision. Last weekend, Destiny 2 had its first Clarion Call event, which gave bonus XP to players when they joined at least one of their clanmates. In wake of that event, some players noticed that the longer they played, the slower they'd progress, despite the fact that they were repeating the same activities. So essentially, the longer you played, the less XP you were getting. And this didn't get as much press as it probably should have. They were basically XP throttling players. And I don't know if they ever made a public statement on this or not. But that was really shady. Just to point out, I'm not on anybody's side necessarily. I'm really not. I'm trying to look at this as objectively as possible, because I'm going to be honest, the bigger any corporation gets, the more shady they become. That's just what I believe for the most part, especially in the world of gaming. Any corporate entity is not perfect. They're not a shining light. It doesn't matter how much PR stuff they try and throw at you. So going forward over the next few weeks, I'm going to be playing a little bit of Destiny, but we're going to be mixing in other games. I have literally about 20 videos of variety videos on my spreadsheet right now that I'm planning to do. And they're bigger projects. I know a lot of you guys are here for just Destiny. I'm just hoping you give me a chance, because I feel like I've been backed into a corner as a creator, and I don't have any other option, and I don't want to rely on Bungie anymore. Kind of been like expressing that for a little bit now. It's really difficult to come to terms with something that you've been grinding for 9 years. It's kind of hard to come to terms with the fact that like it's kind of at the end of its life cycle. And I wanna play a video for you guys, because I wanna see what I said. I made this video 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, December 4th, 2020. This is during the C word era. I made a video titled "Destiny 2 is not sustainable for content creators anymore." There's not infinite content, and I'm not expecting there to be something new every single week to do and grind. Isn't that ironic?
There are exciting story and events happening in Destiny almost every week, year-round.
There's not there's not infinite content, and I'm not expecting there to be something new every single week to do and grind. Point being, like, I just felt like I saw this coming. Like, it doesn't take a genius. I'm not trying to claim to be a prophet, but like, obviously every game doesn't last forever, but like, something didn't feel right. And guess who got absolutely... Oh, YouTube doesn't show the dislikes anymore. That's right. I got grilled for making this video. Absolutely grilled. I made this... this was like right after Witch Queen, right? I got grilled by everybody. They're like, you're an idiot, bro. Destiny 2's great, this, that, the other thing. It's not even worth going into, but like, it's just weird to me how the sentiment changes so fast, because it was like not even 6 months later, there were so many people saying, oh man, we need Destiny 3. 1.3k dislikes. Like, dude, I don't get it. It's almost like people don't even know what they want. In total, I'm just tired of being frustrated, man. I'm just tired. I don't like being frustrated with the game. I want the game to be the best for the most amount of people possible. That's it. And I feel like I have a very well-rounded perspective, and I'm going to sound very arrogant saying that. I don't care. Because of the amount of different players that come into my chat and I've talked to and I've heard opinions from for years. I know what people want and like in the game. And I feel like I probably do more than corporate Bungie does. And I really don't have any problem saying that. But again, it's unfortunately not about what we want. It's about, it's gotten into the cycle of what's best for revenue until you're backed into a corner, and then it's about what the players want. Because Bungie is smart enough and they're more than capable of making the content that could set their legacy up to be one of the best live service games to ever grace the industry. Not only has it been on top for a while, but it could be one of the best to ever happen. It really could. But they choose to go the monetary route versus legacy, which is heartbreaking, because that's almost the same path that they went down with Halo. Because Halo had such a huge legacy for being one of the best and most competitive shooter games ever. It literally pioneered online matchmaking, but Halo is now a shell of its former self. Oh, one other thing I'd like to add is that aside from this video, I'm going to try to refrain from literally talking about Destiny at all, except for on my stream. I will upload Destiny videos. I don't want to talk about feedback on YouTube. I don't want to talk about it on Twitter. I don't want to talk about it anywhere that like it can't be physically documented, because all that do is it goes back into that cycle of, we don't care what you think, as long as you're talking about that game, it's good for us. Because I want change. And I hope a lot of other people do too. So it hurts my heart to see the direction it's going down, and I'm going to try to make the best of it. But it's time for us to try some new things, and I hope you guys are open to that. That's really about all I got for you. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.